When we think about food waste, most of us imagine a plate with leftover food, but the reality is it's much bigger than that. It is not about food on a plate. Food waste doesn't just happen on your plate, it happens at many bigger stages, at many different stages. Before even food came to you, what do you think it was? It was a plant, and then it became had the process. So technically, you're just wasting your nature. That food plant, carbohydrates, wheat, that's a plant. I don't know if that's a plant, if I can be also wrong. I'm not a good, smart guy, but you're wasting your nature. You're just wasting the things given to you. Wheat is transformed into roti. You leave roti, the roti is thrown away, and that roti goes to waste. So you're technically wasting natural resources, and our world needs them. So this doesn't just affect you, it affects us. And from weddings to homes to schools, food is being wasted where we don't even notice. So instead of asking why is food wasted, we should ask the bigger question: where exactly is all this food being wasted? First, the home level. Come on, how can home waste so much food? They waste a lot of food. There are a lot of homes, at least a million homes in Pakistan. Or in a single city, I don't know. I think 2-3 crore homes in Pakistan, maybe even more than that. Let's start with the most common place, our homes. This is where a lot of food is being wasted quietly. It happens every single day because it actually ends up being thrown away. We cook more and then we eat it and then we leave and then it's just thrown away into the dustbin. Other times we store foods improperly and it spoils before even we eat it. So we're also wasting food over here. And then leftovers are forgotten food in fridge, they expire and then we have to throw them away. That is also food waste. So it isn't like it happens in one place. This happens daily in every household. And I told you before, a bigger action needs smaller steps. And that is what food waste actually means. So we're done with home level. What can the other be? The biggest one, events and weddings. Now let's look at a large event or wedding. This is where food waste becomes a very visible and extreme issue. Large quantities of food is produced every single day to satisfy the guests that come and reflect generosity. However, a significant portion of that food is wasted because nobody eats it or it remains untouched. There is often no system to manage or redistribute food, so it affects us and the economy because we spend so much money on food and then when it doesn't get eaten we actually have to throw it away, so it affects our economy as well. And the worst part is that some food is perfectly edible and the restaurant still chose to not give it to the poor but actually thrown it away, show that how smart our Pakistanis actually are, how dumb our Pakistanis actually are. This shows how food waste at events is not just about quantity, it's about lack of planning and management. What can be the third? Schools and restaurants. Food waste is also common in schools and restaurants because in schools, students often take more than they can eat so that they don't have to get in the line. Their laziness, especially in cafeterias, as a result, a lot of food is left on plates and actually thrown away. In restaurants, portion sizes are sometimes too large, or customers order more than they need. This leads to leftovers that are not always reused or are not even needed. In both cases, the problem is just not food, it is behavior and decision making. People are not always aware of how their choices can lead to waste. But people have to make a word. People have to start because this is a very, very, very big issue that our Pakistanis face. If the poor can go home and not have to eat and don't have anything to eat, but the rich gets richer and the poor gets poorer. I don't know if that's a word, but the poor gets more poorer. I have to ask my English teacher first. Finally, food waste also happens at a system level. This includes transportation, storage, and distributions. Sometimes food is damaged during the transport or not stored properly. Sometimes when guests come, we serve the food, but we actually trip and the food hasn't. That's just an example. That food is also wasted. In other cases, there is no efficient system to redistribute surplus food and to those in need. When we look at all those levels, homes, restaurants, events, and systems, it becomes clear that food waste is happening everywhere. It is not limited to one place or one group of people. This means that solving the problem also requires a very, very huge level of commitment from people and the government. Understanding where food happens is important, because once we see the full picture, we can start thinking about how to reduce it in each of these areas. As Pakistanis, we must take action on this, and we must start preparing less food and focusing on these areas. Thank you.